Advanced American Cultural Studies was so interesting. It gave the participants a brief idea about American history. In this video, I'd like to talk about religious, philosophical, and intellectual movements in American history. I'd like to start with Puritans. Puritans were a significant grouping of English Protestants in 16th and 17th centuries. They advocated great purity of worship and doctrine as well as personal group piety. Pietism was a movement within Lutheranism and Anabaptism. Lutheranism opposed Calvinism. Calvinism was also called the Reformed tradition. The faithful is a major branch of Western Christianity that follows the theological tradition and forms of Christian practice of John Calvin. The Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is a series of religious revivals swept through the colonies in 1730. The idea of awakening implies a slumber or passivity during secular or less religious times. Through the Great Awakening emerged the Quakers. The Quakers or Friends are members of the family of religious movements which collectively are known as either the Friends Church or the Religious Society of Friends. The Great Awakening was a religious revival in the American history. It was characterized by widespread revivals led by evangelical Protestant ministers. It brought national identity to colonial America. It permitted people to express their emotions more overtly in order to feel a greater intimacy with God. One of the persons of the Great Awakening is Jonathan Edward. The Enlightenment. The Enlightenment was a cultural movement of intellectuals in the 17th and 18th centuries. Its purpose was to reform the way of thinking using reason, challenge related to tradition and faith, and advance knowledge of the scientific method. Benjamin Franklin was a major figure of the American Enlightenment. He was an American statesman, scientist, political philosopher, known for his writings on nationality and economic matters. Both the Great Awakening and the Enlightenment are two movements that had different ideologies. They were complementary and contributed to the foundation of many principles in America. The Enlightenment was always existed in compromise with the deeply held Christian faith of the American people. Faith and reason have been considered to be sources of justification for religious beliefs. Romanticism. The Romanticism movement entered into the American society as philosophical revolt against the Enlightenment or rationalism. The characteristics of Romanticism were returning to nature and to the beliefs of goodness of humanity, the rediscovery of the artist as supremely individual creator. Romanticism emphasized the individual, the irrationalist, the imaginative, the creative, the transcendental, the visionary. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a key American philosopher, poet, and writer. He was known for his individualism, self-reliance, and intuition. In his famous essay, The American Scholar, he urged the Americans to be themselves and to stop looking to Europe for inspiration. He is also famous for his poem, Concord Hymn, which was sung as a hymn on July 4, 1837. The poem's phrase, heard around the world, is now famous for its description of the philosophical importance of the American Revolution, which broke the ties between the Americans and the British. Thank you so much.